Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
You're on, Steve. Go ahead.
Smooth Benson Henderson, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm always good when I get a chance to talk to you, and I'm really looking forward to this fight you've got against Sadawad. But first, I want to know how satisfying it was for you after back-to-back split decisions to get that big guillotine choke on Roger Huerta.
Oh, man, it was so freaking relieving. It was so nice to go out there and have a good performance. I moved your goldfish over there, buddy. Sorry. It was so nice to go out there and have a great performance. The wins and losses, they are, it is what it is. But ultimately, what I am after, what we are after at my gym that we left in Arizona, is we are after great performances. We feel like you have a great performance, the wins and losses will take care of themselves. And obviously, there'll be more wins and losses. And those two back-to-back split decision losses, I don't think I had a great performance in either one of those. I had a decent performance, but not a great performance at all. So it was just nice to have a great performance and, just do it as I do. Just go out there and shine and have fun, go crazy, and get my hand raised on top of that.
Was there anything Roger did in the fight that surprised you, or was it pretty much the way you expected it to go?
I wouldn't say surprised me. It definitely went how I expected it to go, how I envisioned it in my head, 1,000 times during all my visualization stuff. But I would say he's definitely resilient and tough as heck. Because I kicked him square in the head, and he looked at me and said, "Okay, let's go, let's bring it." Had a big old cut on his head and just came forward. I was like, "Oh man, this is Roger Huerta here. There's no quitting this boy here. Like he's bringing it." So it was a bit of an eye opener for me. Like he's definitely no quitting Roger at all.
I think we saw a little bit of that too in his fight with Patricky, because they just squared up and teed off at each other, and it was like, wow, can we get a better 5 minutes than that?
Yeah.
Now you're moving on to Sadawad, and like previous opponents, you're not getting an easy draw here because he is an incredibly hard hitter and has 10 wins by knockout. So how do you feel about this matchup?
I'm excited for it. I like it. I think he's a super tough guy. Bellator staple, been around for a long time, and Bellator has a couple of big knockouts. Like 4, 5, 6 fight win streak or something like that. A lot of big, like you said, big power in his hand. So my job, what's going to be on me is to make sure that I don't let him, hit me. He's going to try, and my job is going to be to make sure that he doesn't do that. But I think he's tough as heck. He has some holes in his game, and my job is going to be to make sure I exploit those holes as much as I can, make sure he doesn't hit me.
I don't know about all the holes in his game, but I do know he had a hole in his hand at one point because they inserted a steel plate to keep that left together. That's how hard he throws it.
Yeah, you see, that's the problem with throwing so hard. That's the problem with having big power in your hands. You have a hand problem. If you're like me and you throw nice and soft, and I never had any hand problems, never had a hand surgery, never had a broken hand. It's because I hit nice and soft. If you hit nice and soft, you don't have hand problems. That's my reasoning. Now, this is more jesting.
Well, I've heard that some judges will score on the quality striking. I guess it's a subjective standard. But to me, if Nick Diaz lands 100 punches and the other guy lands one good punch, who did more in the round? Nick Diaz. Yeah,
that's what I always wonder with judges going to speaking of decisions and whatnot, is how do they score? Does this just score more for the little shots, not as hard shots, or does this judge score a lot more for power shots and yada yada yada? Like, I'd love to know as far as scoring wise who your judge is going to be during the fight, so you can kind of know a history of their past, how they scored fights and how they like to score. Like, this judge scores a lot for submission attempts. This judge doesn't really score submission attempts at all, but he scores a lot for a good submission defense and knowing that stuff, But like whether the big punches or not as big punches, there you go, sweetie. Well, whether they're just more, touch 'em up punches.
It's too bad we can't get every judge in mixed martial arts all into one room with Sean Wheelock and go through that seminar and say, this is what you score, this is what you don't score, this is how you score a fight. If we could get everybody on the same standard, it would make life easier, not just for the fighters, but I think for us as reporters too, it'd be easier to know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but everyone's different too. Like everyone has a different opinion, and judging is most all it is an opinion. Like, oh, well, I don't think leg kicks hurt real bad. Like, okay, cool. This judge doesn't think leg kicks hurt. Oh, this judge doesn't think, submission attempt is very, very weighty. And then this judge is a, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt guy, so he likes submission attempts a lot. It's all just opinion based, I would just like to know what the judge's opinions are. Okay, well, this judge really likes Jiu-Jitsu. This judge really likes boxing. This judge doesn't care at all about kicks. If I could know that ahead of time, if you could tell me who the judges are going to be and I'll know that ahead of time, I could then, make sure I do what it is I need to do because, it's not always possible just to knock somebody out. It's not always possible just to get a submission. I wish it was that easy just to get knocked out to get submissions, but I think you can, find out who the judges are, see how they judge, see how they weigh submission attempts, leg kicks, punches, all that sort of stuff, and then make sure you win the fight in those three judges' eyes.
I don't often say that you have to be a fighter to understand what fighting is, but when you mentioned the leg kicks, that's one that really bugs me. When judges don't score leg kicks, I do say, hey, stand in front of that fighter and take a kick in your leg from him.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't know how much, because a lot of boxing judges are judges who are, have a pretty big background in boxing, who go into MMA and they start judging MMA, and they don't understand. They don't know what a leg kick feels like, how damaging it can be. So yeah, I have to wholeheartedly agree with you on that one.
Well, are you planning to use some leg kicks on Saad to slow him down and keep him from throwing that power shot?
I'm gonna do whatever he gives me. I'm gonna set some things up and make him give me some things. But whatever it is he gives me, if I set the big left hand, he doesn't give me the big left hand, that's no problem. I'll go to the leg kick instead. If he doesn't not give me the leg kick, he gives me the takedowns. I'll go for the takedown instead. So I'm gonna take whatever Saad gives me.
Well, you've already said that a lot of judging is an opinion, but I have an opinion as a reporter too. I think this is one of the best fights on Bellator 208. I think that everybody should be paying attention because it's a critical bout for the lightweight division. And you mentioned Saad, how he already has a 4-fight win streak, but you're going to establish a streak of your own if you get the win over him and get right back into the mix for the lightweight title shot.
Yeah, the division in Bellator at 155 is on hiatus or on hold, waiting for Primus and a few other guys and this and that, and ultimately you can't really do anything about that. All you can do is go out there and go do your best, go fight, go win, go get your hand raised. So that's all I ever concentrate on, is to go out there. I don't like to talk crap. I like to, a lot of guys do it most if I just talk. I hate that. I hate just talking to earn your way to a title shot and that sort of stuff. For me, I just want to stay busy. I want to fight. I want to win. I want to have great performances.
Scott Coker did get asked about the lightweight division on a recent conference call, and he said they had actually mulled over an interim title, but ultimately decided not to do that. How do you feel about interim titles in general? Do you think there should be one in Bellator in particular while Primus is out?
I don't know if there needs to be a interim title right now. I do think interim titles can be make sense. Yeah, I think interim titles can make sense. I think so for some reason this happens, that happens. I think it makes sense to have an interim title. I don't know if necessarily Bellator right now has a need for one at 155, but if they were to have one, that's cool too. I wouldn't exactly say no to that, So I just think that for Bellator right now at 155, whatever. I just want to fight. I just want to win. So whatever they decide to do, cool, whatever. I just want to fight. I just want to win.
No doubt about that. Now, a few interviews back, we were actually talking about you potentially leaving the sport to do military service and do what you felt was right for your country as a proud citizen. Now it seems like you're fully back into the fighting mode. I wonder, is that still on the back burner somewhere, that you're going to eventually do military service and come back?
Oh, no, for sure I am. But I think it was very misconstrued. I'm an old man now. I got a wife and kids. I was doing reserve duty, not active duty or anything, but reserve duty. Right. And then my dumb butt didn't realize there are different age limits, age restrictions for the different branches. one branch, the reserve cutoff is like 29. I'm not gonna make that. But then one branch, the reserve cutoff is like 39. I can do that one, So I for sure am going to. It's not really a if for me. It's more of like a win. And I gotta have a couple different branches to choose from to to whenever I decide to do it. It's not if, it's just more of a win.
And do you think you would then hang up the gloves to do that, or would you still come back after doing that?
Because it's reserve, I do know of friends, teammates and whatnot who are in the reserve and who currently fight. So I wouldn't necessarily want to like retire or stop fighting and come back. I would do it at the same time.
All right, that sounds like a good plan then. Looking forward to this Bellator 208 card. You're going to be sharing the spotlight on the main card with the heavyweight Grand Prix. So how do you feel about that main event, getting the chance to see two legends in the sport like Fedor and Chael go toe-to-toe?
Well, I'm actually pretty excited for it because I'm a huge fan of freaking both those guys, Chael and Fedor. Chael's pretty great at his media interviews and all his talking. He's probably the only talker in all of MMA that I like. All the rest of the talkers are all dumb butts. They're all annoying me. But Chael's he's super smart, super, he knows his stuff. He's smart, and I think he does it well. But the rest of the talkers are all just dumb butts, and they're more annoying. It's like you're talking for the sake of talking. You're purposely talking just for the sake of like, excuse us, sorry. They're purposely talking just for for attention. They're freaking, what do you want to call it? Yeah, just talking for attention. So I think that Chael's awesome. I'm a huge fan of his. I like how he uses wrestling in MMA. Of course, I'm a huge Fedor fan. Love that guy. He's a freaking legend of the sport, right? So being able to watch both of them go at it, I'm really looking forward to that as a fan of MMA.
I got to be honest, when I went to Bellator 198 in Chicago, I got a little bit of a cold chill down my spine when I saw Fedor walk into the cage. It's an unreal feeling knowing how long he's been in the sport. Yeah. It's a hard thing to explain if you haven't been a long-time MMA fighter or MMA fan, but Fedor is like, he's the greatest. It's just really no other way to say it other than that.
Yeah, he's a man. He is a man.
But I definitely agree with you. There are a lot of fighters out there that are talking just to hear themselves talk or to hype up a fight. And that's one thing I like about both you and Saad is that in interviewing both of you, I've never heard either of you really do any trash talking where you feel like you have to bury an opponent to hype up a fight. You let the fight speak for itself.
Yeah. I think everyone, if you're a fan of the sport, if you're a fan of me or whatever, you know what it is I bring to the table. You know what it is I'm going to do. There's never been a fight, I didn't bring it. I didn't give my absolute best. I lay it all out there on the line. The guys who need to talk and need to hype it up, I think they do it not for the best reasons. They do it for their own reasons. Everyone has different reasons, but I think it's not just for the pure love of competition, getting after it. I think they might want to talk more like the attention whores, right? They need all the attention. They want the attention. They want, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Those guys are just attention whores, I think I'm not a big fan of that.
Well, we're getting enough of that with the other organization this Saturday and their big fight. But next Saturday for your big fight, we're going to get all respect and all skill in the cage. So, Benson, I can't wait to see it. And if you want to plug the MMA Lab and social media, any of that stuff, please go ahead.
Oh, yeah. All the guys know me. My fans, you guys know where you can find me at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. My gym, the MMA Lab in Glendale, Arizona. I'm a little bit biased, I know, but I think we are the hardest working gym in the world. The wins and losses, they're gonna come and go. That's gonna happen. But being the hardest working gym, that's all I care about. That's what I want. I want to be the hardest working gym in the world, and I think we do that.
Well, I feel like that too, because whenever I'm watching a Bellator prelim and I hear fighting out of Glendale, Arizona, I always get a smile on my face because I know that's a hard-working man.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Well, Benson, have a good preparation for Bellator 208, and we'll see a great fight.
Awesome, man. I'll see you.
All right, thank you. And Dan, thank you as well.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Steve. Thanks.
No problem.